listen to me. God's people, get out before it gets hot. If you can't take the heat, you better get out of this kitchen right now, because I'm sick and tired of full-out war going on. God's people, bunch of filthy sodomite perverts, and if you don't like it, get out of here. Let me tell you something. I'm sick of it, and I'm not gonna back down, and I'm sick of people not backing me up on this, and you know what? You are insane. If you're not gonna back us up, let me tell you something. God's people, you are insane. I don't wanna hang around with a bunch of fag hags. You are insane. And a bunch of queer baits and a bunch of effeminates. Get out! I don't love God. I read the Bible. I'm just a brainwashed fool. Let me tell you something. Can't think for myself. God's people, they're sodomites. They're dogs. That's what the Bible calls them. Dogs. God's people, dogs! I'm just a brainwashed fool. I'm sick of it.
God's people, you're a bunch of filthy sodomite dogs. And I'm sick of people not backing me up on this. I'm so outraged that I can't even be sitting in my chair to deliver this message. It's really hard to balance like this. I'm probably gonna fall and permanently injure myself. But God's people, a bunch of dogs, filthy sodomite dogs. And I'm sick of people not backing me up. I'm gonna get my ass out of this chair before I fucking break my neck. God damn it, gang. The United States champion of word wrestling entertainment is back in the motherfucking building for another edition of the Pocket Locker Podcast. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast. And as always, folks, I am in... airplane mode. All right, folks, let's get it going. Greet your neighbors, link up with the gang. It is time to catch a vibe. Let's go ahead and jump into the musical portion of the evening. Randy was first. Nobody, no crime, baby.
When we used to sit in the government yard, entrenched down.
song misogynistic?
And then Georgie would make the firelight as it was. Love would burn it through the night. Then we would cook cornmeal porridge, of which I'll share with you. My feet is my only carriage, so I've got to put on through. But while I'm gone, I mean, yeah, everything's gonna be alright. 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 And everything's gonna be alright. Yeah, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright, 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 alright. Yeah. Woo! No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry.
Yeah, all right. We got one more for you. Let's get into it. Uh-oh. Do that.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. Music loud and women warm, been kicked around since I was born. And nothing's gonna change the way we live, 'cause we can always take but never give. And now that things are changing for the worse, see, oh, life's going nowhere. Somebody help me. Somebody help me, yeah. Futures made of virtual insanity now always seem to be governed by this love we have
kind of
for
keep with my favorite. He's always digging in.
of a new technology. Oh, now
Oh,
there
this
is no
guy.
sound, for we all live underground. Well, now I get low and I get high, and if I can't get either, I really try. Got the winds of heaven on my shoes. I'm a dancing man, and I just can't lose. And nothing's gonna change the way we live, 'cause we can always take but never give. And now that things are changing for the worse, see, oh, life's going nowhere.
Got that
now
tambourine.
there is no sound, but we all live underground. Oh, futures made of virtual insanity now always seem to be governed by this love we have for useless twisting of a new technology. Oh, now there is no sound, but we all live underground, live underground, live underground.
Nice. All right, gang, let's take off on this shit. We got kind of a grab bag today. First thing up, apparently Fox News and Tucker Carlson have found themselves back in court once again. And I know you just feel so bad for all of the parties involved. Oh no, hopefully nothing bad could happen to Tucker Carlson or Fox News. What would we do? What would democracy do without these two heroes and beacons of patriotism?
This is a big one. We
Is
have
it?
followed the impact of lies and
Toilets.
conspiracy theories in our politics, in our media ecosystems, and in court, where there have been major consequences. You know that if you follow the news. In the news tonight, Fox News hit with a new punishing defamation suit. If you're counting, this is the third, and it has to do with January 6th. And the issues there are about civil court, not criminal. We've covered the criminal side of this many times. The civil side is whether there were people who lied and sent people off to the insurrection, or lied and defamed people in ways that damaged them or their companies. Now, the people who've sued aren't always Fox haters or critics. The voting company that got over $500 million out of them certainly didn't have any long-standing grievances with the company. They just were able to get so far in their punishing lawsuit that they got over $500 million out of Rupert Murdoch, and then got Tucker Carlson, was ousted shortly thereafter. I say that by way of introduction before I bring James Carville back, because this new suit, which is so important, comes from a Trump supporter, Ray Epps. And he says that Tucker Carlson, the former Fox host, who again ousted after a different lawsuit, was at a illegal or defamatory level peddling knowingly false conspiracy theories, specifically against him. He says, quote, Carlson was telling a fantastical story in which Epps was some sort of undercover FBI agent responsible for the actual mob that broke into the Capitol. So what you're about to see is what we've warned you before, not offered as true, not offered as something you should believe, I say that as introduction, but offered as evidence in another case that could seriously change what Fox says, who is employed by them, and what is fed out to their loyal audience and parts of the Republican Party. That's why I tell you, this ain't a media story. We don't usually lead with strictly media stories like, critiquing a New York Times article. This is a story about something much larger. Here is some of what Tucker Carlson said about this person suing him.
A man called Ray Epps. Epps was in Washington the night before, January 5th. This Epps guy, a photo of Ray Epps, new reporting on Ray Epps.
A mysterious figure called Ray Epps.
It went on and on like that, and the videos do show that Epps was on the Capitol grounds on the 6th, though there's no evidence he entered the building. Epps said that he and his wife are receiving death threats. They had to sell their business. They left their home, community, and even state to get away from what they argue in court. What they argue in this new lawsuit was a knowingly false defamation conspiracy theory designed to hurt them, and it did. Now, Fox has settled two major suits with Dominion and then an ex-Tucker Carlson producer. And, like I mentioned, there's other suits that are putting major pressure on them. Indeed, Smartmatic, a different voting company, has a $2 billion plus lawsuit against them. I want to bring in James Carville, as mentioned, the political strategist, the Clinton advisor, the longtime Democratic guru. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good to have you. I'll let the viewers in on a little side note, which is people like me and you, people who chew on this stuff. If we run into each other at a conference or in Washington, you and I might talk about media, sure. I underscore, I don't usually lead the news program with just stories about other media, whether it's the Times, the New Yorker, or Fox. It seems that the increasing expensive pressure on Fox as an organ of right-wing information, as an arbiter of the Republican Party, that this is also a political story. I'm curious what you think.
Well, it is, and I'm associated with Media Matters, which of course has done a lot of exposure of a lot of stuff that goes on at Fox and in the right-wing media.
I can't say
If you remember right after January 6th,
say anybody anymore. I hate everybody.
So they said it was really Antifa, and they were up to it.
Yeah.
But of course, and there's no such thing as Antifa, so you can't defame it. It doesn't exist. There's no such organization. There's no Antifa headquarters. There's no Antifa board. So if they would have just stuck with Antifa, they'd have probably been okay.
Dude,
But then they
MSNBC
single
loves this
Mr.
guy.
Epps out, and
He's
of course,
always on
it's a
TV.
file and it's a lawsuit. The defense hadn't had a chance, but all of it seems pretty true. I mean, the stuff him saying about Mr. Epps, that people in Arizona, I bet you that he's telling the truth when he had to move and he had death threats and everything else. They should have just stuck with Antifa, which doesn't exist, only in their mind.
There's no
But
line
once they went to an
anymore.
individual, that's a little different. That's not
TYP's
a
going
general
right
thing.
wing.
And what is it? This is a
kick in here.
David
yeah. This is
Pakman's
a
hanging
simple
out
question,
with
James. But sometimes I ask a simple
fucking
question: what does it tell you that even for the Fox audience, forget the rest of the country,
name.
even for the Fox audience, the truth wasn't going to work. The truth that Donald Trump and these other officials and other people that were documented with the January 6th committee and elsewhere led this thing. That didn't work. They couldn't stick to the truth. So as you say, they had to actually start blaming other people for what we all know was a Trump rally that turned into a Trump insurrection.
They were desperate to have an answer. It was bad optics.
Okay, but like I mean, gang. All right.
People beating up police.
I'm down. The downfall
breaking
of
into
Fox
windows,
is fine.
right?
I'm
and
with
their
it.
audience
I'm with it.
desperately needed another
But also,
explanation.
this guy,
if they were going to keep their
maybe shouldn't
audience,
have been
they
at the
had to
January 6th
supply.
rally. That was probably
The
bad.
Antifa thing fell apart, so Mr. Epps was the remainder man. And that audience, they just can't let it go. They have to, it's a giant monster that you have to feed every night. And
and it's
that's what
fucking
happened, of course,
monstrous,
with
and
the
it's scary.
Dominion. It's gonna
This is
happen.
one of those things when the fucking, I don't know what they say, when the leopard eats your face or whatever, and you've been on Team Leopard or whatever the fuck, that's what the fuck is happening. And it is terrible, but this is what, I mean, it's an angry cult mob. They literally will turn on whoever the fuck they're told to turn on. And it is really fucking weird, like, that they targeted that dude. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe because of his like former position or whatever, and you know, it looks like one of those situations of Fox News lazy reporting. They're like, oh look, there's an influential figure and he's kind of on the front lines. Let's run with that.
Smartmatic, and it's probably going to happen with Mr. Metz. That was an expensive diet they were on, feeding that monster. They ate too many cheeseburgers. Their arteries are clogging up. And people are coming back after him. I promise you. And that, I don't know, but this case doesn't look frivolous to me. But we'll see.
No, and it may not be at the scale of the voting company, which goes to the damages, but they have another voting company case pending. They have over $500 million. They got rid of Lou Dobbs. They got rid of Tucker Carlson. They paid off Tucker Carlson's producer. You know, we live in a country sometimes where it's like we all get this heroin level demand. I'll tell people three things. Someone will go, yeah, but show me when there's results, Ari. And I'll say, those are the results, and here's another one. Right. And I get that certain things move slowly, but they certainly at a political, business, and audience level are paying for it. Then you have, of course, the role they play in whether there's going to be any alternative to Trump. You're here, so we want to get you on this. There have been Republicans that want to get Murdoch to see them as the alternative. Ron DeSantis, before he ran, was seen as that option, as you know. The New York Times, though, said...
I just got to be honest with you, like, what the fuck is the alternative right now? Like, DeSantis has announced, a couple other cuckoo birds, and literally everybody else seems to be bending over backwards to jerk Trump off to get into the vice presidency thing. Oh, I guess speaking of vice presidents, you know, Mike Pence is running. We got to do a thing on Mike Pence, y'all, because Mike Pence might actually be worse. But Mike Pence is not even really in the conversation when it comes to the numbers versus Donald Trump. This Republican Party is fucked, and I kind of don't think like they should be fucked. Like they should be fucked. They're bad people, and they allowed themselves to be taken over by somebody who was so monumentally worse that it makes us pine for the days of the George W. Bush Republican Party, gang. Remember that administration that you shat all over? Remember that president you talked about being the dumbest motherfucker and the most evil, vile fucking... Yeah, he was all of that shit until fuckface Donald Trump came along. And then you were like, y'all remember the good old days with cute W? He had his little charms to him. He paints. Isn't it cool that he paints? He's coming around these days. You know what I'm saying? Like, gang, that's how bad these fuckfaces are. Now what? They're like, why doesn't anybody trust us? Why don't we have any other presidential candidates? How come nobody's polling higher than Biden, huh? What? Nah, fuck y'all. Go with Trump. Y'all got Trump. I hope Trump's ass is literally in prison and y'all ain't got no other candidate. Fuck this Republican Party. I'm not trying to see them. And everybody else is worse, gang. Gang, you know who the Republicans Party are? They are literally they're fucking hell apologists. Let me explain, gang. You know how you talking to a fucking Christian, right? And for some reason, a fucked up conversation of hell will come up. And then it dawns upon you, the person I'm talking to literally thinks I deserve to burn alive in hell with the torture and the weeping and gnashing of teeth and the fire and Satan and his demons and all of that shit, right? And then for some reason they'll be like, no, I'm not one of those crazy Christians. It's just a metaphor. You're just poof. You're just done. You just die and you're done. You're done. You're annihilated. It's annihilate. You're just finished. Or it's just a metaphor for it's analogous to being eternally separated from the goodness of God. And you're like, okay, and you're kind of going along, you're sitting there kind of nodding your head, trying to grant him a little something, and then you think about it and you realize, wait, this motherfucker actually thinks that that's worse. Because that's the real hell for them. Like, all that other shit, that's just some flowery fucking kids. That's just some fucking shit we tell children to scare them at night. No, the real hell when you're eternally separated or you're just fucking annihilated, that shit's way worse. You're fucking done. It's what they're what they're offering you is not fucking better. And that is the fucking situation we find ourselves in. We could either have the hell, the absolute weeping and gnashing of teeth, literally Satan at the helm, that is 4 more years of Donald fucking Trump. Or we could have the milquetoast true believer version with fucked up ass Mike Pence. Or we could have literally burn all the queers, fuck Disney, Ron fuckface DeSantis, who's like worse. They're literally, their options are worse, gang. They are not like, oh, we need to really clean things up and it's time to have a great reckoning with the American people and finally elect some responsible people who get, no. Fuck this Republican. Gang, I don't give a fuck. You cannot revote a fucking Republican for anything, nothing, no public office, none.
As DeSantis has actually started to lose so badly that the Murdoch empire is turning on him. There's skepticism. The shine has come off the campaign. Rolling Stone put it like this: Murdoch's sour on DeSantis. They can smell
put the shine on the campaign. Please go fuck yourselves, Fox News.
By over 20 points. What does it tell you, James, that the idea of DeSantis at a distance is apparently playing differently
licking Trump's booty
than the
hole.
actual real DeSantis now that he's running?
Well, personally, when your advice to a candidate has to go out and act human, you're not starting in a good place. Don't forget to be human and like look people in the eye and shake hands with them.
Gang, I'm not even gonna lie to you, gang.
DeSantis' big-
Gang, pause tape, edit tape. I can't. We're done. We got it. They're back in. That's the story. They're back in court, gang. We're moving the fuck on. I can't handle these guys. I just can't do it. Let's get into some fucking counter apologetics, god damn it. All right, so look, we're gonna be gang, you know, I really do love you guys. This movement we got going, this fucking connection, this fucking community. Go fuck yourselves. All the fucking haters out there, please understand, haters, what we do in this YouTube and this gather thing, man, look. We are building real community, real connections. We just do it virtually because we're fucking separated by many miles and all of that shit. But gang, you know, but it I ain't gonna lie to you. It do take work. And now I think we're gonna be responding to a thing with Mike Winger in it, gang. And let me tell you, it's a labor of love because I hate them. I hate this man. I hate him. I hate him. Look, I don't care. I know you're not supposed to say you hate people and hate is bad. Look, I'm not a Christian anymore. I don't pretend to love people. My atheist prayer, I got one atheist prayer, and that's I pray for the downfall of my fucking enemies. I fucking hate this man. Hate is a real human emotion. It's like they said in that Dave Chappelle sketch. You got to open up your heart and let that hate out. These motherfuckers hate us. Wow, no, fuck all that bullshit. No, I hate this man. All right, gang, we're going to jump into this shit. The only thing that's going to make this redeemable is we're going to be whooping his monkey ass a new one because he's on some stupid shit. All right, so we're going to talk about how the Bible reads like history. Okay, spoiler alert, the Bible does not read like history, is not history. And if you say some stupid shit like that to me, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to just let you know flat out, no. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Are you surprised? I'm sorry, I couldn't keep it in. I couldn't keep it a secret.
Favorite because he says so many silly things which I can use to endlessly fuel this channel.
You know, that's the problem, gang. That is the fucking problem. We have to do this for the people, gang. Mike Winger says the dumbest shit, but he has a big platform. And then the fucking YouTube algorithm is like, oh, did you put Mike Winger in your fucking title? Oh, are you going to respond to that thing that Mike Winger's in? And then the fucking atheists come running and the Christians show up and they got some shit to say. And so it is just, it's like Trump. It's like Trump. You're like, I don't know. Look, I had a lot going on today. You know, I don't know how much time do you have to put together a show? We don't have a lot of time to put together the show. Okay, well we can't be unprepared. We need some shit. Okay, well then there's just a list, right? There's just a short list of fucking apologists, and you know you could just plug them fucking in. You're gonna pop up some shit. They're gonna be saying some stupid ass shit. You're gonna be instantly triggered. Boom, you could do a show about it. And it's ready to go. It's good for the community. It's good for the goose. It's good for the gander and all that good shit. But the problem is you don't realize what you're doing to yourself until it's too late. Then you're live. There's a camera in front of you, a microphone, the audience. We're live. We're doing this for real. And now you got to literally, as a grown-ass man who just spent the whole ass day doing grown-ass man work shit, now in your spare time, instead of gaming with your friends, you got to sit up here and listen to some Mike Winger. You got to sit up here and really listen to Mike Winger. It is really 9 o'clock on a Thursday evening. This is perfectly good time to be living my best life, and I am sitting in this chair listening to Mike fucking gang. I fucking love you. That's the point of this shit. All right, let's roll.
For time and all eternity, as my foreman Roots would have me say, he has a pretty good standard for judging the stories in the Bible or any holy book, really. And I want to embrace that standard with him. Mike.
The day of the burial was probably the day of preparation. Okay, so Joseph was able to buy a shroud. They could do that on the day of preparation. They could still buy a shroud. That's Mark 15:46. Multiple sources say that it was the day of preparation, which is the Friday before sundown. And this is Luke 23:54 and John 19:31. So we have different sources incidentally all pointing to the timing being consistent. Like it reads like it's history. Like, yeah, that's how it would be if it was really happening.
This is just Gang, nothing about the Bible reads as if it were actually happening. None of it. From Genesis to fucking Revelation, it reads like some magical fairy tale bullshit. Say it with me, Christians. Magical fairy tale bullshit. One more time, Christians. Magical fairy tale bullshit. That is what it reads like. Mike Winger, fuck you. Have you ever read a history book, my guy? Have you ever, like, in your life, like, gang, you think I'm playing? What if he was homeschooled? We don't know. These people come up with their own alternate versions of education and everything. You have to ask yourself serious questions. I'm not saying the man's never read a history book before. What I'm saying is it's not an unreasonable question at this point. If you're going to say some shit like that, we get to ask some very difficult questions about your motherfucking background, like number one, have you read a history book? And I need to see your academic credentials, all of them shits, from fucking kindergarten to when the fuck you graduated from the last thing you fucking graduated from, because what did you just say? See, people like Lena and some of my other friends, they would just be like gaslighting. They would be like, he's gaslighting you. They'd be like, it's just gaslighting. But then other people like, I don't know, what if he really believes it? See, these are the conundrums that Christianity gets you tied into. You don't even realize this, but gang, they're ruining our lives. Think about this. We spend as much time on Christianity as Christians, probably more. Because these people are so fucked up. It is like the perpetual, never-ending car crash that you can't look away from, because you literally spend like all your spare time trying to figure out how grown-ass people could really be this stupid. It's like Trumpism and Christianity and QAnon and anti-vaxxers and it's like a constant, never-ending swarm of fucking delusional fucking Americans around us all the time. And it's fascinating, and we can't stop fucking watching and talking and obsessing about it. But at the same time, they're kind of trying to come to kill us. So like, they're really actually a threat to our humanity and safety. So maybe should we step up our game and try to end this shit, or like flee to another country? I don't know, because this shit's not okay, gang.
Is a standard I really like. This is a standard I can get behind. It's a standard I'm begging Christians and believers of all faiths to embrace with me. If it reads like history, it's probably history. Or at the very least, it's not something someone like me would or could easily or summarily dismiss. Buying a shroud is a pretty mundane claim. So yeah, I'm with you, Mike. It reads like history, which is overwhelmingly mundane and unspectacular. But once we start applying that standard to the rest of these stories about Jesus, we start to hit a wall, don't we? No, actually, we don't. And that's the problem.
All right, so let's just clear this up for all the Christians that are listening. What he's actually saying is, even if we were to grant your claim that the Bible reads like history, which parts of it do, Christians, I got news for you. Parts of it are actually historical. They sprinkle the little actual history on there. Something reading like history does not verify the thing that you are in fact reading about to be historical. Number two, it certainly does not warrant fucking belief in the magical, supernatural, clearly phantasmical elements of said story just because it has the same rhetorical structure as something that's historical, which is exactly what somebody who wanted to pull an okie doke on your ass would do if they wanted to, I don't know, trick you into thinking something was historical.
The two of us, Mike, I'm the only one hitting that wall for the rest of the story. You think things are history, which clearly don't read like history. Let's go through a few examples. For instance, What we know historically, or what appears to be the case throughout history, is that human procreation occurs when, if you have little ones in the room, you might want to send them elsewhere. I'll wait.
I need sexual reproduction, baby. Sexual reproduction. See, sexual reproduction doesn't really sound like a sexy term, so you could say it in front of the children because
human procreation occurs when two humans, one male, one female, get together and do the horizontal mambo. The man then plants his seed in the woman deep down inside. That seed fertilizes an egg, and a process begins which leads to the creation of a human being. A ghost showing up at the home of a teenage virgin girl and implanting a god in her womb is not what typically happens. However common such stories might have been 2,000 years ago, nor would such a thing be the polite thing to do. It's just rude and unbecoming a god or gods. Today,
yeah, they're part of that, like, I don't know, it's like that boy band status of fucking evangelical grifters, and then they're all buddy. Those guys sit back and have a few cold ones and laugh all the way to the bank together. I'm sure they're very fucking chummy with each other. They're all thoroughly well-funded liars.
We'd call that kind of thing rape. By the way, an angel appearing to you in a dream to tell you that your pregnant fiance is not a lying, cheating sack of, well, you know what I'm saying, and that you should marry her despite the bun in the oven?
Yes.
That isn't really historical either. It's not how it would be if it really happened.
Yes.
At least not in all of history. Likewise, if we're being historical, people have generally figured out where to go and how to get there using maps. In 2023, most people get around using some kind of GPS, usually on their smartphones.
No, they just decide to
starve. While people have indeed navigated by the stars, those stars generally stay fixed and give no outward signs of being the star of anyone in particular, like the king of a given people. So when someone claims that they saw a star rise and know whose star that is, we generally don't take that at face value as an historical claim, especially when those same people claim that a particular star went ahead to guide people to a particular place and then just stopped at that place so as
gang, let's take a good swig of this whiskey right here. Christians, when I review the Bible, there's just something about all of it that really just rings bullshit to me. Like, okay, so let's start at the beginning, right? Where the talking snake juke steps the woman, then we get the curse on the world known as sin after God was bored by himself in the eternal ether. So he just made a universe with his spoken words, and then in like 6 days. Listen, it doesn't really work like that. Gang, Christians believe if you do the biblical calculations that the world is between 6,000 and 10,000 years old. Gang, we have fucking trees older than that. Okay, it's just not possible. Okay, then you could just read through say all of it's full of bullshit and I really hate the Bible and the Bible is one of the worst things ever written and I don't understand why people keep obsessing over this book because this book fucking sucks. It's full of gory fucking immoral bullshit. God is a fucking monster. This book is long as hell. I literally cannot believe that people spend decades studying this bullshit and then you just get all the way, you just skip to the fucking end. You treat that shit like a fucking math textbook. You're like, yeah, I think the answer is, I don't give a fuck. Just flip to the back of the book. What's the fucking end? What happens in the end? Oh yeah, what happens in the end is fucking Magic Sky Daddy comes back, whoops everybody's monkey ass, scoops up all his homies for eternity, and magical weird shit coming back riding on the cloud, all this type of fucked up shit. Yeah. So like I said, from the beginning to the very fucking end, literally nothing about it rings historical. No. And gang, please go fuck yourself if you think this is not a major issue and that we're just out here sitting on some bullshit because of the fucking YouTube algorithm. No. They just passed a fucking law in Missouri that the fucking dumbass governor just signed into fucking law that allows them to fucking teach the Bible in public schools as an elective alternative to U.S. history, gang. That is right. The motherfucker who wrote it stood up and said, this is the fucking law that I introduced so that students in the public schools can study the Bible to get a better understanding of U.S. history, even though the Bible doesn't say shit about the United States. Please go fuck yourself, Christians. You are ruining everything. I hate you. I just want my friends in like the same community in like a world with no religion and no Christianity, and I could fucking do streams about, have you guys played that new AEW video game? Oh, you guys want to play some Street Fighter? Have you guys heard of BattleBit? That shit is dope. You guys want to play some Rainbow Six Mobile? No, you guys want to go outside and play some fucking kickball? Can we go to fucking wine and dine? You guys want to talk about shrimp tacos? Just some fun shit. But no. We live in America in 2023, and there are Christians fucking everywhere like a swarm of killer bees, and they are destroying the whole shit. God damn it.
To indicate that the destination had been reached. That just doesn't read like history, Mike, nor is it how it would be if it really happened. We could do this all day, but let me just give this one last example. When you're dead, historically speaking,
that's so
and
funny.
especially if you've just suffered
Maya,
a particularly gruesome death where a soldier has made sure that you're dead by stabbing you with his sword, you generally don't just walk away from an injury like that, Mike. At least not without a limp or some other lasting physically debilitating impediment. You're going to have a bruise or some cramping or a bit of swelling, maybe all three at the very least. You're certainly going to walk away with one hell of a headache. And death has certainly never given anyone the power to defy gravity, where a person can just suddenly, after being dead for a couple days, float up into the air so high that eventually no one can see them. Historically speaking, that's just not how it would be if it really happened. It just doesn't read like history, Mike. But nope. I like your standard. I do. I really do. I think you're onto something, and I think it's a great idea. I'm completely on board. So kudos, my friend. Once again, I'm me. Thanks for watching.
All right, gang. Oh man, that was fun. Look at his preview. He's like, click here, watch me shit all over this dumbass Doug from that Pine Creek channel, cause Doug's a piece of shit and an asshole. You know, that's just how it is, man. Doug, be proud of yourself, man. Look at you, Doug. You're fucking out here, Doug, man. Your stupidity is fucking noteworthy, man. People are just dunking all over your dumbass. You really ought to be proud of yourself, man. You really built something here, man. Your name rings out in the streets, man. You should be proud of that. Holy crap. All right, gang, it is time to jump into the main event of the evening. Gang, we're starting a fucking series because look, I ain't gonna lie to you. We got to figure out what we're gonna be doing up on this channel. And right now, the waters of content creation and reacting to stuff in the news, it's just fucking, it's fraught right now. It's all fraught. It's all scary. Every day, a new fucking source and somebody you thought was cool, they turn on usually on the turf shit. They usually do a turf turn. That's like the new fucking two-step everybody's doing. And then you're like, fuck, I don't even want to be anywhere near these people. So you just like dive in. And so look, we got to start some series. We got to start getting into some shit that we can do when everything is terrible and I literally don't want news and information from the outside world because everything's bad. All right, so what we're gonna do is, but while we're doing that, we're gonna be getting fucking trained in the fucking jujitsu of fucking anti-fucking bigot bullshit, all right? And what we're gonna be doing is we're getting into this alt-right playbook. Yes, that's right, gang. The most visited, impactful fucking video that we've reviewed on this channel, the alt-right playbook, the cost of doing business video. We've probably covered that literally like 3 times on this channel. We like covered it and then we was like, nah, shit is fucked up. I don't think y'all remember when we covered this shit. And then fucking shit got all fucked up again. And then we came back with Maya on that shit. And then we was like, I don't think y'all remember that we covered this shit. And now there's a whole, it was part of a whole fucking series on the alt-right playbook. And we are gonna do the whole fucking series. And that means we're gonna do that cost of doing business shit again because shit is still fucked up. And I'm still seeing people bend over backwards to do business with the alt-right bullshit. All right. But today is part 1, so we are going to jump into the introduction of this series, gang. All right. Here we go. Just pop this on up over here. Boom. Let's roll this tape.
Say, for the sake of argument, you run a modestly successful YouTube channel, and given the current political reality, you're thinking of doing some videos on the alt-right. Let's say you've been trying to understand the alt-right for some time, and would like to do a series that tackles the big questions. What are the rhetorical strategies the alt-right uses to legitimize itself and gain power? How do these strategies work? Why do they work? How do we keep from falling for them? And, importantly, how do we catch ourselves when we start using them too? You're thinking of calling this series the Alt-Right Playbook. Setting aside that any lefty who makes a YouTube series with alt-right in the title will see their life go to hell, there are 3 things you'd have to clarify from the get-go. First, what is the alt-right? For clarity's sake, you'd have to tell people that the alt-right is a pack of loosely aligned groups and individuals that have existed for quite a while at the peripheries of American conservatism, but have recently gained footholds in the Republican Party proper. The term alt-right...
All right, gang, so we're going to pause the tape right there for our first 2023 Blackalicious update of this program, which is that the alt-right now apparently contains all them motherfuckers who call them centrists. Definitely anybody that you hear say that they're a fucking what's that shit? What's the shit when you're a fucking Republican, a conservative, but you don't want to say that shit, gang? The fucking whiskey's doing good. I'll remember what that shit's called later. All right. And all these centrists, the independents, the moderate Democrats, and all the undercover progressive and lefties, all the undercover progressive and the so-called lefties who fucking throw marginalized groups under the bus when it becomes politically expedient, they're all part of the alt-right, gang. Don't get it twisted, gang. Oh, and fucking atheist, fucking bullshit, soft-ass atheist who won't call out Christo-fascism. Y'all are definitely part, and I don't want to hear the bullshit. I don't care. Your grandmother's a fascist. Your mama probably a fascist. Your auntie a fascist. All them people you trying to keep comfortable in their Christianity are Christo-fascists, and they're fucking up the game, and they're all part of the alt-right, and you keeping them comfortable because you don't want to deal with the discomfort of them realizing you're a woke fucking leftist atheist is holding all of us back under their fucking boots. So please go fuck yourselves. All that shit, all of that shit, All of that shit is part of the alt-right. Either be woke or die. That's it. That's it. That's it. You're either woke, leftist as fuck, 24/7, at all. Yes, yes, it is a fucking purity culture. It is a straight up purity culture. Why? Because there's never a fucking time when it is okay to dehumanize other human beings, gang. Please go fuck yourself. So yeah, we pretty much demand that you just have some fucking integrity and fucking demand equal rights for all people and stop sitting on that capitalist bullshit 24/7. It's not really too much to ask when you think about it. Please go fuck yourself.
Right,
Everybody's part of the alt-right.
More or less what you think it would, positioning themselves as the young, edgy Nirvana to the antiquated motley crew of 70s and 80s conservatism. They seek to replace and critique the likes of Barry Goldwater and Ronald Reagan for being, let's not mince words here, not reactionary enough. The alt-right, the people who adopt the label and those who just parrot their talking points, has high overlap with white supremacist think tank the National Policy Institute, Stormfront and the Ku Klux Klan, Breitbart News and various sections of 4chan, 8chan, and Reddit, sections of the asshole atheist community, anti-feminist YouTube, pickup artists and rape apologists, the not all men, all lives matter and Gamergate crowds, and basically anyone who uses the terms social justice warrior or virtue signaling unironically. Not everyone in these groups is in the alt-right, but the alt-right traffics at the intersection between them. There's a wide range of differing and frankly incompatible ideas about government and the social order among these groups, but as it gains power, the alt-right is congealing into a somewhat cohesive ideology. And the reason they matter at this moment in history is that of all the people in the 2016 primaries, only one was the alt-right candidate.
And gang, let's take a good look at the stage right. First off, let's just notice the white man of all of them. Right? Let's just notice the white man of all of them. And I know some of you were sitting there like, Jay, we can't say they're all white men because Ben Carson is up there. Please go fuck yourself. Ben Carson is a coon, triple down coon who endorses white supremacy with every breath he takes, every move he makes. Okay, so Ben Carson, go fuck himself. Please notice all of these, and still, even amongst all of these fuckface, would you be comfortable with any of these? I mean, look, some of these names not coming to mind. Rand Paul, fuckface, Ted. Look at his face. Just look at his face. Just look at his face. Boom. Just look at his boom right there. See the psychopathicness? Fucking Ted Cruz, this fucking asshole, that asshole. All these fucking assholes. Literally, gang. The only gang. When Chris Christie, who was just part of this whole MAGA madness from the get-go, is like the best hope you have of this entire fuckfacedness movement, shit is officially really, 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 really bad. And then on top of that, exactly, Donald fuckface Trump is the only one who's considered way out there in the MAGAverse so that he represents the alt-right, and then he becomes the new King Dong big dick of the fucking Republican Party. And he still is. Felonies and all of that shit aside. So literally, this is why I utterly have no compassion for anyone who votes Republican and identify, because the people see this as the entire landscape. He's literally the worst of it all. He becomes the king, and these people will look you dead in the face and be like, I'm not going to vote Democrat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to vote Republican. Sorry. It's like a fucking religion. They have literally publicly devoted their life, and by that they mean their entire life, to the Republican Party. And everybody on the alt-right, including all the moderates, centrists, progressives, fake-ass undercover leftists, and all of them people, they're all in bed with the alt-right trying to suck on that prosperous teat. And it's fucking bullshit, gang.
While not everyone who voted for him is in the alt-right, they are his base, his most ardent supporters, and they carried him all the way to the White House. Next, you'd want to clarify
The right no
why they're
longer
called
has
the
any
alt-right.
best AR.
Alt-right is a term coined by National Policy Institute president, avowed white nationalist, and professional
Sorry, gang, let's get some
speedbag Richard
volume up in
Spencer.
this bitch.
The term is meant as a euphemism, a way of painting a happy face on racism. And that's not an opinion. One of the stated aims of Spencer's organization is the removal of non-whites from American society. And the purpose—
And they're all on that shit, gang. I have to be honest with you. I just hear racism with all of this shit. Anybody that tells me they're about Trump, I just hear racism. Anybody who tells me they lean conservative, racism. All of that fucking moderate, independent, oh, I support equal rights, ... You already know there's a but coming. I just hear racism. Like all of these people are in the fucking American jambalaya that the fucking base, the fucking stock, the fucking roux that was used to fucking make all of this shit. Racism is the primary ingredient. And now, and of course, there's just other forms of prejudice. But look, I'm gonna keep it to you real simple. If you can overlook prejudice for something that is to your personal convenience, you're a bigot. Like, that's just, and I really get sick of all the song and dance about it. Honestly, I really do. I really do. There really isn't much else to say about these people, right? If you're like, yeah, I know they have this really bad reputation for being sexist, but you know, I'm just really about the border policy. You're a bigot. Oh, you know, I know they say that these people are fucking racist, but you know what? You know, it's just, you know, the taxes, the Democrats, I just can't get around to the Democratic tax part. You're a bigot. If you overlook bigotry because overlooking bigotry happens to be in your personal self-interest, you're a fucking bigot. Like, it's just, come on now. I don't have time. We don't have time for this bullshit.
Of rebranding white supremacy with a term like alt-right is so mainstream white people are not made to feel like racists when they vote for racist people with racist policy.
And yes, this includes your mainstream racist Christianity. You know that shit that was forced upon my ancestors while they were enslaved? Yeah, that Christianity. The Christianity you had to beat into black people. Yeah, that one, yeah, that shit's pretty racist.
So every time a journalist writes an article about the dapper fashions of the alt-right and doesn't title it Lipstick on a White Supremacist Pig, that journalist is being a coward and treating a hate group with kid gloves basically because the hate group asked them to. So, you might want to clarify why you put that euphemism in the title of your videos. And, well, you'd have to explain that while the alt-right is racist, they are not only racist. They're also misogynist, anti-feminist, Islamophobic, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, classist, ableist, authoritarian, and fiercely anti-intellectual.
Gang, please, familiarize yourself with this list, because this is exactly what we're doing. And I got a fucking bonus one for you. Okay, so they're racist, they're misogynist, they're anti-feminist, they're Islamophobic, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, classist, ableist, authoritarian, anti-intellectual. Almost till we got to the end, we could kind of make a bop out of that. Like we should take this list and make like a song out of it, like a song for children to identify the alt-right. Gang, I wish I could put this camera on Sam. This dog is just special. He's special. He's a very special dog. He knows he can just run and jump on the chair, but he doesn't want to run and jump on the chair, so he just spends his time like trying to see if he can jump onto the chair without really jumping onto the chair. Sam, you know you got to jump on the chair. I don't know why you do this to yourself every day. All right, but look, gang, I want to add a very, very important thing, phobia, bias, prejudice, bigotry to all of this. And I'm going to need everybody in my audience to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say about a lot of these people. They hate atheists. They hate atheists, okay? I know some of them are atheists. Those are the fucked up, angry, bullshit atheists we talk about. There's a lot of self-hatred. And gang, you can't let that trick you into thinking that this movement isn't anti-atheism. You just have to understand that those are the atheist versions of coons. They are coons. They are just atheists who think that they can buy in to fucking Christo-fascist propaganda, and that usually, let's just be honest, usually they just think their white male fucking non-poorness will save them from the fucking purge. That's it. That's it. That's it. They're just atheist coons. So we don't need to be short-circuited by that shit anymore. We don't need to be like, oh, but can we really say this movement is anti-secularism and atheism because there's atheists that are part of it. My brain can't handle it. My brain. No, they're just the atheist version of coons. That's all. That's it. They're just self-haters. That's all. That's all. They're just fucking phony. There's no need to be all fucking crossover. But gang, please understand that this movement has Christo-fascism as its fucking roots, and there is no way at the core of this is anti-atheist sentiment. Please understand that every single one of these groups, every time they go after these groups, they say they're demonic and they're ungodly and they're trying to overturn God's order. Gang, I'm just so sick of atheists thinking that they're safe somehow. You're not. These people hate you too. Just get on the bus. These people fucking hate you. Let's go.
So if you just did a find and replace of each instance of alt-right with white supremacist, you'd actually be leaving a lot out. That's not much of a defense for the term alt-right. It just paints a happy face on a bunch of horrible stuff. But it is useful.
My ex-girlfriend actually bought Sam stairs. Real talk. He didn't use them. He hated them, but it was a good try. It was a good try. E for effort.
To have a term that refers to the whole cluster. And you don't have the kind of internet pull where if you coined your own term, anyone would know what you're talking about. So you'll just have to promise not to use alt-right as a euphemism.
All right, pause the tape, gang. Y'all know maturity is not exactly my strong suit. I 100% support us rebranding all of these people poo-poo butt faces. Okay, for all it's like when you find yourself in a situation where fuckface just won't do. You know those people who you're like, look, this person's a fuckface and that person's a fuckface this, fuckface that, and they look at you because you're you use bad words or whatever. You say, let me poo-poo butt faces. Okay, this poo-poo butt face, that poo-poo butt face, this poo-poo butt face. I fully support poo-poo butt face. Now I know a lot of people are gonna hit me up in my comment section. Gang, you should see my comment section. It's just fucking blowing up. There's so many comment sections. You should see my social media that I don't use. The social media that I don't use, oh man, people are just blowing me up in the social media that I don't use. And they're gonna be like, Jay, calling bigots and fascist names like poo-poo butt face isn't gonna help us. It doesn't speak to the issues. It doesn't add any clarity, and it's beneath us to resort to the name calling. No, like I said, maturity is not my strong suit. I am 100% on board with poo-poo butt face, and we should make a poo-poo butt face t-shirt and sell it in the merchandise store because it's awesome.
When the alt-right is racist, you will have to call them racist. When the alt-right is homophobic, you'll have to call them homophobic. If you're stuck with their term, don't use it the way they want you to. Third, you'd have to cover how to engage with the alt-right, which is actually pretty straightforward. Don't. The reasoning there may not be immediately obvious, especially if you, say, once devoted an entire video to the importance of talking to anti-feminist hate mobs. So you'll have to explain. You have since then learned how such debates with the far right often go, thanks to conversations with people who have more lived experience than you. If some guy on Twitter shoots his mouth off about how, for instance, only precious snowflakes would care about how many black women are getting roles in Hollywood, maybe you push back on that. Maybe the conversation gets heated. Maybe you debunk his arguments, make your points, and he walks away in a huff. For you, the interaction is over. But for folks on the far right, it often isn't. The far right keeps mental lists of people who represent the things they're mad about. The symbol of the liberal media, the symbol of video game feminism, the symbol of trans activism. FYI, these are usually women and people of color. And these people aren't people to them. They're just icons for a thing. And the way they express anger about those things is to attack those people. So while you leave the argument and have a lie down, eat a sandwich, feel better, he maybe vents his frustration by hacking the email of whomever represents black women in Hollywood this week. This doesn't happen every time, or even most times, but it happens reliably enough that anytime you try and debate with a reactionary, you are gambling with someone else's safety. The purpose of debating these people is not to change their minds, but to stem the flow of lies and bad rhetoric. The alt-right is always recruiting, always trying to expand its audience. And there are ways to reach their intended audience without engaging them directly. It's not only safer, it's often more effective to cut out the middleman, speak past them, not to them. If your purpose is to actually change the
All right, hang on a sec. So let me jump in here because there's some stuff in here that I think needs to be thought about with some nuance. Okay. First off, I want to just say that there's a lot of truth to this. There's a lot of truth to this, and that can be problematic, right? Like. It is true that we need to think about who we engage, when we engage, how we engage, and most importantly, maybe not most importantly, but right up there, why we engage, but then probably definitely most importantly, for the benefit of whom and to what effect. And a lot of times that means, you know, like you can find yourself, it's easy to find yourself in a position that does more harm than good. And it just weighs on it. I know in my experience lately, a lot of this has been really thinking about how conversations around particularly the queer community just get to be detrimental to their sense of safety and wellness and balance in life, and it becomes a very difficult thing to consider. Should you engage? When should you engage? How should you engage? Because there's a lot of exposure involved every single time. Now, with that being said, I wanna think about a couple caveats or a couple of things to consider. Number one, I think largely the community that I am most interested in, or that I deal with most closely. I don't want to say I'm speaking for all of my audience, but I would say for a lot of my audience, like, you're probably an atheist. I would hope you're progressive. I would really actually hope you consider yourself a leftist or woke or a fucking, radically anti whatever the fuck person. And I think that puts you in the affected category. Like, I think there's a little bit of, so one of the critiques I've heard lately is that you should not consider what we've been talking about as allyship or speaking up for marginalized groups or whatever as some act of altruism, right? One, because they could come for you, and it's best to recognize that if they come for certain groups, now when they start feeling their power, they're gonna expand that list, and again we looked at that list, and it's safe to say you're on that fucking list. And And number two, it's just what we should be doing. It's just the fucking bare minimum of being a human being to consider the humanity of other fucking humans. And so from that perspective, you know, it would be helpful if we stop dealing with this from such a distance. Like, stop acting like these issues don't affect us. All right, the other thing is this whole narrative about don't engage, it kind of feeds into the don't debate. It kind of feeds into this idea, but it to me feels like thinking we're gonna out Jedi mind trick our opponent, and I really do think these people have figured out, you know, they've figured out how to take advantage of you feeling like you're too good to engage, right? They build their own platforms. They do their active recruiting. They're very good at their messaging. They're incredibly good at communication. You know, they're great at building these cult of personalities and monetizing them and getting support and leveraging that into electoral power and laws and the whole nine. They figured out the fucking game. And to me, for you to feel like you're taking a moral high ground when you're just like, well, I'm not going to engage. I'm like, well, who is that really helping? And the other thing it does that feeds right into the alt-right playbook is it allows you to not confront people who don't see themselves as part of the problem. Like, again, there's a whole problem with moderates and people who think they're progressive and mainstream Christians who, you know, don't identify as radically, like all that type of shit. And because you don't want to engage, it's like, to me, it gets a lot of people off the hook. So we have to ask ourselves, who really benefits from us not engaging? It's just got to be part of the consideration. The other thing is, and I don't speak for all marginalized people here, but sometimes this messaging, like, it kind of assumes you can really control the politicization or threats that we deal with as marginalized people. Like, I'm a black man. I deal with whatever racism might come my way. And I have been my whole life. And while, yes, there's a problem, and I've been in situations, even since I've started this channel, like with certain things that have happened in the community that have been very difficult for me to deal with personally. But at the same time, that's just part of the experience, right? And so, you know, I want to say something like, we're not that fragile. Like, cool, we get it, and most of us are not going to. Let me speak for myself. I'm not going to begrudge, you know, somebody I consider a friend or ally or somebody who's just trying to do the right thing for speaking out, speaking up, doing what they got to do. And if as a byproduct of that, you know, haters are going to hate on me or you've activated other people's rate, that's still their problem. That's still their responsibility. You know, so again, you want to be careful because the violence is real, the harassment is real, you know, all of those ways in which the alt-right goes too far, but they're going to find a reason to go too far anyway. So it's just all of these things should be considered. Basically what I'm getting at is, I'm not saying you shouldn't consider not engaging because it just might not help, right? Like, straight up, that's a huge point. But make sure your consideration of to engage or not engage and whether it's going to help or not is really based on, you know, how it might affect other people versus just giving yourself an excuse to stay comfortable or not deal with something. because if you don't engage, it ends up just being on those marginalized groups, which are typically small groups. Typically, they're minorities. Typically, they have less representation. And now, you know, they're speaking up in self-defense. They're speaking up like because they have to. And everybody else is like, oh, well, we've kind of decided to not engage, you know? So yeah, we gotta be. I just gotta keep it real, like, and this is just a transformation I've been going through lately, like because and it's because of this whole alt-right thing. It's because it's the same thing like leaving religion. Like leaving religion is super hard, and part of it is because if you were raised in it and they got you like they got me while you were still soft in the head, they taught you your toolkit. So you might want to leave religion, but part of how you cope with the world, part of how you literally solve problems, how you address situations is so fundamentally inspired by that religion that in a sense it limits the ways you can fight back. And what I'm realizing in dealing with the alt-right is that part of the problem is they dominate the social narrative. They dominate the social sphere. And so we tend to rely on ways of dealing with things that are acceptable to them or ways that are influenced by that narrative, even unintentionally. And that's just been one of my personal suspicions of progressive voices lately. It's just, it's very difficult to talk about, but it's genuine. It's just a situation where I'm sitting back going, yeah, I hear a lot of people saying a lot of things, but now I'm looking at these people and I'm going, I don't know who that suits anymore. I don't know how it helps me that you've given yourself permission to not engage. And I'm not saying that's always the case, right? Because again, there are some people who are like, yo, I don't want to engage because that person's going to pick up a rock and he probably ain't going to throw the rock at me. He going to throw the rock at my homie over there. I'm like, yeah, that's word. Don't do that to your homie. That'd be fucked up. But we just got to be critical now of where we're getting messages from.
The mind of a reactionary, well, doing that right is tricky, and doing it wrong can have serious consequences. So until you know for sure how to change the mind of a reactionary without fucking somebody else's life up, do not engage. Once you've got those 3 bits cleared up, the rest of your announcement is just housekeeping. Because there are a whole lot of topics to discuss, you'll want to keep the videos short and to the point, and you'll have to alternate them with videos in your more usual wheelhouse, or else after a few months of nothing but this, videos would just be 5-minute blocks of sustained screaming. You'll try to release them in batches when the subjects interlock, but you'll also try not to make any promises about your schedule. And you'll have to clarify that anything you say, no matter how insightful or well-researched, is ultimately your opinion, and invite people to expand or push back on your ideas, provided they can do so civilly. And you'll have to be clear that if people are coming to you for solutions, you do not as of now have any. You're not at solutions yet. Maybe you will be by the end of this, but for now, all you know is, if you want to win, you have to understand why you've been losing. And if you want to defeat an enemy, you have to know how your enemy thinks. Then, all that's left to say is, welcome to the alt-right playbook.
All right, gang. That was good. I'm actually really excited about this series. I really think the content is really well done. It's really insightful, and I think they're really trying to key us into the conversation we need to have, right? Because to me, the conversation people are trying to put out on Front Street is there's the right and there's the left and we're so divided and we're at war over everything. And I'm like, that's not how it feels to a lot of us. That's not how it feels at all. It feels more like the right is in bed with the left, and they're playing footsies and just teasing each other, tickling each other, trying to decide what to watch on Netflix. Meanwhile, they both wake up in the morning and they're like on three, 1, 2, 3, and they're throwing all our monkey asses under the boat with like perfect synchronization and fucking harmony. So it's trying to understand, how did we get here where the whole game, the whole Overton window or whatever, the whole thing has shifted so far over to the right that it's literally feeling like there's it's feeling like truly people who are trying to just, I don't even want to say, I want to say definitely the left, definitely real progressives, definitely, you know, definitely marginalized groups, but it's literally feeling like there's no real voice anymore. It's feeling like it's shifted so far over that even the people who are put in front of your face as being your best bets, your safest bets, your safe places, your advocates and all of that, they're probably wishy-washy wet noodles at best, and you should probably not expect too much of them. And that, you know, it's discouraging, but at the same time, it's just part of the process. It's always been the way it is. So it's nice. It's you realize you're kind of waking up, you're kind of maturing, you're kind of realizing, okay, I see what it is. And now we're just figuring out how to organize ourselves and take care of each other and move in a different way. So yeah, I think getting into this alt-right series will be a good one. I've got a couple other like longer format things that are longer format videos or pieces that I think would be too much for a single stream, but I think they're good content to break up over time. So we'll start jumping in a series just to have a way to mix things up and keep things fresh. But that's it, gang. We're gonna try to wrap it here and have some time. I want to make some dinner and have some time to hang out and gather and just relax and have fun. So come join us, man. I'll be trying to do some more tutorials here and stuff. I'm still getting set up with the new place, and I don't have my screens up yet. That's why things have been still different. I don't have all my screens set up, and I don't have my new computer set up. So when I get back on that, we'll get you guys. We'll get back to giving you guys some Discord and gather tutorials. But definitely come hang out. There are links in the description. We've been having a really good time, so I appreciate all you. Shout out also just to the whole work crowd, man. Y'all don't know me and Lena and Steph and Carrie and the main man, UC Love, man. We be in the gather during the day. Maya's usually coming through, Bree a lot of times, Nitty, you know, but we really in there, man. We're having fun. So just come link up with us. I know it's still like a shift for people because we're not live or whatever, but normally we're there like from when we get up. We use it like a virtual office, so a lot of us are there throughout the day, and then we hang out through the night. So if you're around and you're bored, if there's nothing going on YouTube and you want to come hang out, have some fun, come hit us up and gather. Like I said, there's a link in the description. But other than that, man, I really appreciate y'all. It's been great. I really do appreciate y'all for tuning in and being in the chat. If you catch it later, leave us a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'll see you next time.